One of the biggest mistakes you can make if you want to start a farm business is going into debt in year one. That is what this video focuses on. It's a big one. It's important. Coming up right now. Welcome to Modern Grower. I'm Diego, Diego. I'm a podcaster. I've talked to hundreds of growers over the past 10 years. I've learned a lot about what makes businesses successful and what makes businesses fail. And one of those things is debt, which we'll talk about today. My goal for this channel is to help you be a better small business owner. Not just a better farmer, but a small business owner, because as a farmer, that's what you are primarily. You grow stuff, but under the context of owning a small business. So let's get right into it. Your first year in farming, you don't want to rush to force the need for income to come in. That's what I've talked about in the previous two videos. If you missed those, I suggest you go back and watch those first, because there's three things I think you should focus on your first year in farming. And this is video 3, where we're focusing on not going into debt. You don't want to rush things at first because it puts too much strain on the system. You want to build your foundation and then use that foundation to grow the business. So the first year, you want to focus on not going into debt, preserving the capital that you have. How do most businesses get started? The way most people start a business is they save up some chunk of money and then use that amount of money to invest in buying resources to help their business get off the ground. Usually that's equipment, supplies, that type of thing. Maybe if they're rent, in this case, some land. So you're going to do that. You're going to have some amount of money that you're going to allocate to the business. What you're going to want to do in year one is set a budget. How much do I have to start with? And what am I going to spend that money on and when? The when is important because it's one thing to say, oh, I'm going to spend $50,000 this year. Well, is that right away? That means I need $50,000 all at once, or is it, a little bit each month so I can earn that along the way? So set a budget. And then I want you to think about, what do you do if that budget runs out, or if the amount of money you start with runs out? Because this could be a common scenario. You're new, so you might think you know how much it's going to cost to start a farm business, but you haven't actually bought all this stuff and gone through it and accounted for life and emergencies and all the things that can go wrong. What if you underestimate how much it's going to cost? So I think I need, 50's too high, $15,000. And what if you spend $15,000, you're like, I still need a few things. And I mean need, underline need, not want a few things, or it'd be nice to have a few things. I need a few things. What do you do? Are you allowed to dip into your personal savings and pull that money out? Can you take a loan? What's the deal there? This is something people want to define and think about ahead of time if this scenario happens. Because what could easily happen, and you see this on many a show about business makeovers, and you see this I've fallen prey to this trap in the past. I'm going to use this money to start a business. Oops, that run out. I'll just pull a little bit out of personal savings. And then use that. I'll just pull a little bit out of personal savings. And you just keep pulling out of personal savings. And, your business spending is going up and your personal savings are going down. If that business fails, you took personal savings from here to here, and you now have a business that fails. Maybe you can recoup some of this stuff that you spent money on, but probably not a lot of it. You know how long it takes to build up personal savings after taxes, just working a regular job? A long damn time. People forget how easy it is to spend money and how hard it is to earn it. You can spend it like that. To earn it, it's more like it takes a very long time. So don't forget that. Set your budget and adhere to it. Start tracking costs. You want controlled spending your first year. You only want to buy what you absolutely need when you need it. You're not buying stuff in advance. You're buying it when you need it. It's not, oh, I'll need a high tunnel next year, so I'll buy it now. No, buy it next year. You buy what you need when you need it. And you hold off until you're 100% sure that you need it. Because a lot of times we do this thing, whether we're at Target or Best Buy or shopping on Amazon or in the farm store, it's like, oh, I really need this thing. But it's more like I want it. It's like, I want it so bad. And then you start to justify, oh, this is why I need it. So that want quickly, our brain plays little tricks on itself and we start to turn the want into a need. So make sure you actually need it. You can't borrow it, rent it, use something else, find a substitution process or tool. Like, do you actually need it? Because the cash you start with, look at that as a very, very precious resource. Think of it like you're trapped underwater in a submarine and you have a limited amount of air. Every breath counts. If you're not using the breath to save yourself in the submarine situation, you're wasting it. You don't want to be down there doing jumping jacks while you're trapped and you're just using up your oxygen for no gain. That's this. You have a limited amount of cash, use it very wisely. Treat these buying decisions like they're rations. Air, food, I only have a certain amount of it. You want to start selling in year one. So we can offset our seed capital that we put into the business. Let's just start selling something. This makes me feel good because I'm selling. It builds confidence. It brings in a little bit of cash flow. I can start to learn the sales process. So it's a non-negative. Instead of just draining money out of the account, I'm putting a little bit back in. Now, we're not worried about dumping buckets of money in. Even if it's little spoonfuls going back in, it shows that it's not a one-way flow of cash. It's like, wow, we are bringing in something, and that matters. New sales means you start to build a customer base, you get feedback, you learn information, you get cash flow, you get confidence. And this year one goal isn't to support your lifestyle or to get rich. It's to build a foundation for years to come. You don't want to do so much financial damage in the first year that you can never recover. This is where a lot of people are who come out of college. College is crazy expensive now. There's people that get out of school with hundreds of $1,000s of debt. Now, I don't care if you're a lawyer or whatever, that's going to take a long time to pay off. You're doing yourself I think, a huge disservice taking on all that debt. It's no different than if you go to college or you're very young and you dig yourself into $20,000 of credit card debt and you're making $20 an hour. It can take you forever to pay that off. Or you do that thing that a lot of people seem to do in Southern California here. I'm assuming that they can't afford these things, but they buy these RVs and the boats. I see them parked in these lots and they're paying just to park them there. And they have these huge assets, liabilities parked in lots around SoCal here that's just bootstrapping their financial or hamstringing their financial future. You don't want to be in that position with your business. So make smart moves. Every time you spend money, it has ripple effects into the future. Don't hurt your ability to pivot in year two because you overspent in year one. Just because you budgeted $15,000 to start your business doesn't mean you have to spend it all. This isn't some game show where it's use it or lose it. It's your money. Having some surplus going into year two gives you a buffer. So spend as needed. Now, careful also on the other side. Like, don't be so cheap. You are going to need professional tools. You're trying to do this professionally. So DIY only gets you so far. So buy appropriate technology and don't cheap out and try and make everything yourself, because there are trade-offs there. But don't overspend. You will feel less stressful, and you'll give yourself more optionality and more freedom with more money in the bank than less. When money in the bank goes down, stress goes up. When money in the bank goes down, optionality goes down. When money in the bank goes down, freedom goes down. Give yourself the wiggle room. Don't go into debt. Don't overspend in year one. All of these three things combined, getting experience, building a solid foundation, and not going into debt and spending wisely in year one, will enable you to build the foundation for what could be a successful business into the future. I don't want to say will be, because there's a lot of variables out there. There's no guarantees of success. But there are things you can do that if you do them, it increases your chances of failure. You're trying to increase chances of success and lessen chances of failure. So rush things at the risk of putting too much strain on the system, financially, mentally, physically. But also realize if the business just goes. So say you're taking this slow-paced approach in year one, and somebody comes in and stuff just starts rolling and you're feeling it and it's working, you go with it. I wouldn't put the brakes on something that's working really successfully. And I think you'd know. It's almost like if you're surfing or body surfing, when you start to get a feel for that, you know whether you've caught the wave or you've missed it. And you know once you've on the wave, you go. And you know if you're not on it, you just bail and wait for the next wave. If you're on that wave and you can tell this thing's got momentum, it's moving, go with the momentum. Don't hold yourself back in year one just because it's a learning year. Because sometimes luck strikes, luck does play a big part in businesses, or opportunity, and sometimes it doesn't strike twice. So do your best to manage that if that happens. And regardless of how much money you make in year one, assuming you don't lose a lot, you'll come out of this year, 2025, way ahead of where you started, and the experience will be priceless. Again, you shouldn't be measuring success this first year in how much you make. You should be measuring it on how much experience you got, how many customers you got, how many relationships you built, how much knowledge you gained, how much of your infrastructure you built out, and how much money you saved and didn't spend. That is where success is measured early on. You'll have plenty of years to shoot after success goals where you want to increase sales. But you can only increase sales year over year with solid foundations, experiences, and the capital to expand, and the financial discipline to manage that capital as you grow. If you form bad habits in year one, they're going to carry through later on, and more success is only going to exacerbate those bad habits and expose you even more. So take year one, learn, and then jump into year two and get after it using everything you learned and everything you saved. If you enjoyed the series, please let me know. I'm passionate about this stuff. I like talking about it. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.